my guy introduced me here. I do want to say thank you right off the bat to McKeskas and everybody that puts this event on. It's a unique deal throughout the state. I don't know of hardly any counties that do this, and we kind of reiterate that every year. And it's been going long and strong for many years now, so I'm very honored to be a part of this. Not only the event, but I'm honored to be a part of Morgan County athletics, not just football, but this county has a tremendous tradition in all of our schools, all 5 of them, dating back, 100 years. So, last year, Boling was the 80th year that they played football. So this year is, we're kind of excited to celebrate our 40th year. We moved from the state championship team in '72, so we're excited about that. So what I'm trying to get across to you is I'm very proud to be part of this tradition here in Morgan County and definitely at Boling High School. I want to say thank you to all the sponsors, the newspapers, the media outlets that put this on. You guys do a great job. I also want to acknowledge our administrative team that showed up today, Mr. Stedeman, Mr. Blanner, Mr. Jedlicka, Mr. Wagner, Mr. Ramey, Tim Moore is one of our teachers, one of my good friends, board member Jerry Swatek, Bill Copeland, Chief Bill Copeland, members of our booster club. There's a lot of people here also, Mr. Krasuski and Mr. Bacha. So everybody that came out, if I missed anybody, I apologize, but thank you so much for supporting us. I want to say thank you to our booster club. Not only are they here today, we've got a bunch of volunteers that are doing a great job. They're actually setting up for our Hot Dogs with the Dogs tonight, our little annual kickoff. So I'm sure they're busy doing that. That'll be right before I finish tonight with Industrial. So thank you to everybody that came out to support us. One last big thank you. I want to say thanks to the Boling fans. We've got a great fan base. They're very passionate. They love the Bulldogs, so I'm very happy to help lead their program. Before I get into kind of the nuts and bolts of things, I was talking to Mr. Steadman about yesterday. This is the 4th year I've done this, and I'm completely out of the story. So I don't have anything for you there. So I'm going to kind of talk about our team and where we are, what we want to be this year, and kind of how we got where we're at this preseason. Last year, we were, by records, we were average. We were 5-5. We missed the playoffs, tied for 3rd, and it was a difficult pill to swallow. And one of the things as coaches do, and we probably do this too much, is we kind of nitpick everything of what could we have done differently. And we felt like there were some games we left out on the field that we might have been able to have won. So the weekend after the final game, I really sat down and looked at everything. And what was the number one glaring weakness I felt like was our opponents that beat us were just physically stronger than us. And that stood out to me, and that was one thing we aimed to correct. Not that we hadn't hit the weights hard, because we had, but I felt like we could do some things differently. So we did a lot of research, figured out some ways to change what we were doing. And first Monday after football season was over, I told the boys, I said, take a look around. This is your home until we get out of school. And we literally did that. We spent 12 days outside of the weight room last year, from November to May. So, what you give up in outside stuff, I felt like we gained in strength. We saw a lot of tremendous gains. Some of our kids gained a lot of muscle and got a lot stronger. So what we've seen so far in preseason has been a lot quicker guys and a little more powerful point of attack. Hopefully that'll translate to some more wins this year, and I think it will. I'm going to go ahead and get into the team. We've got 19 seniors this year. We've got 64 kids out for football. 19 seniors is the biggest one we've ever had, or that I've had since I've been there. That's a lot of seniors for our school. And it is a senior-laden team, but at the same time, we will count on quite a few sophomores and even a freshman to give us some contributions. This group of seniors, I do want to say, is incredibly hardworking. They're great leaders. Knock on wood, we've had no drama, we've had no complaints. It's been hot and not one person has even talked about it. They just get after it. It's been a really good camp so far. And those seniors and a lot of juniors and several of the sophomores and freshmen, they really got into our summer strength and conditioning program this year. We had anywhere from 105 to around 75 a night. 75 was the low nights. That was with church and softball and baseball and everything going on. So participation was great over summer, and it's really shown as they come into camp. We've had nobody jump up, which is unusual. You know, they're in better shape. So I think they really bought into it. I'm going to start with the offensive team that we're going to put on the field, and you know, there's going to be a lot of guys vying for spots, but if we had to start today, this is pretty much what we're going to go with, and there's still some position battles going, and I'll talk about that in just a second. At quarterback, we got a young man named Ryan Marino. Ryan's a junior. He started for us last year as a sophomore at outside linebacker. We've moved him back to quarterback, which is where he's played from 7th grade through his freshman year, and then he'll be back there again. He's not a very big guy. He's probably 5'9", and I'm stretching him a little bit. He's very strong, very quick. He's about 170, put together pretty well. But the biggest thing about Ryan is he's a great leader, and he's a tremendous worker. The kids they really respond to him. He'll be backed up by Joey Garcia, who's a sophomore, getting better every day. He's a young kid, very smart, so he'll be a capable backup. In the backfield, we're going to be deeper than what I'm used to being as far as the overall depth. You know, 2 years ago, everybody talked about the triplets and this and that. But they're different kids. It's a different group of running backs. We've got 6 guys, literally, that I have confidence in running football. They all have a little bit different skill set. You know, nobody's a game breaker, but they all do a really good job with what their role is. Gillis would be the first one I talked about. He would be, I guess, if you want to say the most explosive guy we got, he is that one guy that he can take to the house if he gets loose. He's a very explosive running back. We look forward to big things from him this year. He's got 6 and really came on towards the end of last season. Eric Gooden is our fullback, and he's a true blocking fullback. He's gotten better running the ball, but he's one of your prototypical fullbacks. He's about 6 foot 220, and he's the strongest kid we got. And he's the second guy out of the coaches that squats 600 pounds. He's an animal in the weight room, so we look forward to Eric having breakthrough. Other guys that will count on running the ball, Kenyatta Woodard, Jalen Garcia, Chance Stedevan, and Jalen Colbert. Colbert's a freshman, so we're going to bring him along a little slower. He's going to help us develop positions. But the thing that all of these backs have in common is they're all fairly decent size. The smallest one is around 185. You know, they're mostly big guys, bigger kids, aiming from 185 to 220. So we're going to give them all the ball and see who becomes a bell cow there, if you will. At receiver, it's the opposite. We don't have a whole lot of receivers. We're very thin there. We're going to be counting on a freshman, October kid, to help us out there. Our backup quarterback will get some time at wide receiver along with Alvaro Beltran and Will Douglas, good blockers. So you know, we're not a big passing team anyhow. I mean, if anybody ever watches us, you know, we run the ball, and we're going to do that, and we hope to continue doing that well. So we count on our receivers to be very good blockers, and so far they've really bought into that. They know what their role is, and they're very unselfish. You've got to be unselfish in the wing team if you're going to be a receiver. And I think any of these coaches will tell you that. You've got to have a special kid there. Tight ends, I think, is a big strength for us this year. We've got very capable tight ends, and you don't always have that. Tight end's a very difficult position to find a good player there. Riley Riojas is a senior, one of our team captains. Riley missed games last year due to injury, and it really hurt us. He's a very good football player, and if you had to put a gun in my head and said, who's the best overall player, he would probably be the guy that comes to mind. He's just an overall real good football player. He's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, but he's very, very tough, and he's a heck of a leader. So I'm glad to have Riley back healthy. He'll be playing some tight end. He'll be backed up by a kid that I really hope will step up and take that position to give Riley breathers on defense. A kid named Tyler Mann is a sophomore. Tyler right now is 6'4", 220, and he's still growing. So I'm hoping that Tyler will be one of those real big tight ends that we all hope to have someday. And he's done a great job in the preseason, so looking forward to that. The last guy that we will run out there at tight end is a kid named Caleb Lincolnword. Caleb's not as big as the other two. He's about 6 foot, but he's probably 160 dripping wet, you know, but he's very good. He's a technician, and he's a real smart kid. Caleb is one of the younger brothers of a kid that was an all-state tackle for us, so he's kind of got it in his bloodlines to be a good football player. So Caleb's going to do a great job for us. I would say the strength of our team this year will be our offensive line. I certainly hope that's the case. We've got several good players on the offensive line right now. We have 4 senior starters and 1 junior starter. We've got a couple more kids that are really battling for some spots. Our split tackle would be our biggest lineman named Kip Welch. He's a senior, he's 6'2", 250. And Kip's very athletic for a big guy, big strong kid, and he had a really good scrimmage the other day. So we expect big things from Kip. Irving O'Vera would be our split guard. Irving's a junior. He's about 6'1" or so, around 200 pounds, very athletic. He's a converted tight end that we moved to guard, and he's done a great job for us. So I think Irving's going to be a good football player. Nick Abbott's a 3-year starter at center. I say 3 years. He started a couple games as a sophomore, so he got a little experience there. Then he started all last year. He'll be starting this year, senior year. Done a great job at center. He's also one of our team captains. He's the guy that gets him going, and he's a great leader. At tight guard, that's the biggest battle on our offensive line. We got 3 guys right now, and they're all doing a great job. And tonight's scrimmage will pretty much go, you know, a long ways to determine who wins that spot. Kenny Barnett, Renee Rodriguez, and Daniel Farrell are all really close. They're all doing a great job. So we're going to give Barnett the start tonight and get equal reps with everybody else and see who wins that battle. And they know that. So it ought to be fun to watch on film and decide who's going to be starting there next week. Chase Haas rounds out the offensive line on the tight side. He's a big athletic guy. He might be the most athletic lineman we have. Chase missed a few games last year also with a shoulder injury, but he's back healthy, so we're excited to have Chase back. That pretty much wraps up the offense, you know, and everybody talks about offense and this and that, but the big thing, you know, we had to get better at other than being stronger is we had to get better defensively. And we returned 8 guys who saw significant time on the defensive side of the ball. We graduated our secondary pretty much, but, you know, we're going to be working some kids in there that have done really well early on. Up front, our defensive front line will be led by Jonathan Waddy. He's a first-team All-District defensive lineman. He had a really good scrimmage the other day, and he's kind of a wrecking ball in there. He's not very big. He's probably 5'8", 5'9", and pretty heavy. He's about 220 and very quick. And if you know anything about the Waddy name around Boling, he's a Waddy. You know, he's got some ability. He's not a running back, but he's a lineman, and he's a good one. The other defensive tackle is one of our running backs, and that's Kenyatta Woodard. He's going to do a really good job at defensive tackle. He started, I think he started 8 of the 10 games last year at defensive tackle as a sophomore. So we're looking forward to Kenyatta having a big year. Defensive ends, I think, is a strong suit of our defense, led by Eric Gooden. He's a unanimous first-team All-District player last year. He'll double from fullback to defensive end. Big, strong guy. He's hard to move, and he's got some speed when he comes off the edge. The other defensive end will be Chance Stedeman. He's a sophomore. He's also got good size. He's about 6 foot, around 200 pounds, and he's one of those kids that loves the weight room. So, you know, he's the younger brother of the kid that was my quarterback a couple years ago. Same type of hard-nosed kid. So those will be the 2 defensive ends, and their backups will be Tyler and Chip Welch. We've got several guys we feel like can play that position. Outside linebacker will be 2 new guys. Pete Herrera is a sophomore, athletic, rangy guy. He's going to make some mistakes because he's a sophomore, but he's got a lot of ability. So we think Pete is going to end up making us a really good football player in the coming years. The other outside linebacker is going to be shared a little bit by 2 guys, Caleb Winkenwerder and a kid named Antonio Vasquez. Antonio couldn't play last year due to some issues with work and all of that, and we really missed him. He's a great kid, and we're happy to have him back. He's a senior, and he's a very tough kid. He can run quite a bit. He's a good track athlete. We're glad to have Antonio back. In the secondary, like I said, we're a little thin, but I think we're going to be just fine there as the season goes along. We've got some guys that saw a little bit of playing time there last year. Jalen Garcia will be our starting free safety, along with Ryan Marino playing some corner, Jalen Tolbert playing some corner. Joey Garcia playing some corner, and Alvaro Beltran. So we're kind of mixing and matching it right now, and they all do something a little bit better than the others. So we're going to play with that a little bit as we go along before next week's real game counts. The last thing I really want to talk about would be our inside linebackers. I think we're very strong there. Riley Riojas, again, he'll be playing inside linebacker, and Alan Gillis. And Alan, towards the end of the season last year, really came on as one of the better defensive players in the district. And he's kind of carried that over into the preseason. He looked really good in the scrimmage the other day in limited play. And we're going to let him go full bore tonight. He had a little nap. He had a tooth issue, so he's back healthy now. So tonight he'll get the full share offensively and defensively. Again, I know I kind of ran through this really quickly, but I know everybody's got something to say, and I want to again thank everyone. It's been an honor these last 4 years, and I hope the next 10 years to speak to you guys, and I can't wait for the season. All the guys, I hope you stay healthy. We'll be pulling for you, except for Smart. I'm just playing. No, I want everybody to stay healthy, and y'all have a great year. Thank you, everybody, and y'all come out and support.